Hey everyone, Eric from Cutting It Away here. I know it's been a little while. YouTube is not my job. I'm not a pro at this. But anyway, here we are for the production breakdown for 9 Days, the latest single that Pierre and I have put together, coming out September 29th. So in a couple weeks here. I'm really excited for everyone to hear it. And so we've been sitting on this song for a little while. The song release process can be complicated. You know, this one really just was a challenge for me personally to mix. I think we added too much to the song, and so really the solution to getting the mix and getting the song to really come through clearly was to just start to delete things or mute tracks and stuff. So it's a bit of a maximalist song that we had to pare down a little bit, but overall compared to other stuff, it definitely has a maximal quality to it, as far as there's a lot of different parts, some layers, variations to it. The main thing I want to say is if you check out the link in the description, cuttingitaway.com/9days, you'll see that you have a link to this video, the production breakdown, but then you'll also have a link to download the remix stems. And so that's just the multi-track files from this session. Free for you to use, free for you to remix, whatever. If you come up with a remix, if you're excited about a remix, please let us know. Hit us up on Instagram. It would be really cool if we could put a little release together, sort of repackage our single with a few remixes. That would be awesome. So without further blabbering on my side, let's go to, I guess, me from the past when I recorded this video. So take it away, younger me. Thanks, future me. So as I said in the intro, this is 9 Days. This is the latest song that Pierre and I just released under our name, Cutting It Away. Put simply, it's a song about falling in love in a place that you're unfamiliar, sort of being surprised and sort of scared of these intense feelings that you're having for this person that you've only known for a few days. And, getting to the point where you start to accept that, really the time that we have together is all we have, and we should enjoy it. We should see it for the beauty that it holds, rather than fixate on the short time, we have. It's, sort of a song about scarcity versus abundance mindset, you could say. It's sort of split up into two distinct sections. So the first one is this kind of strange drum beat. There was an intention around wanting each section of the song to feel a little distinct, sort of like the days that are passing in the song. And as time passes and as your feelings and your experience in the story change, the song changes around you. And so largely that's done by just creating little breaks. So the section that I just played has this sort of extra percussion element that comes in. I'm just using... Audio Things hats. So it's cool that it has like kind of those two tones that you can have. It's sort of a longer and a shorter. This is also these drum machine hi-hats come in too. So it's really the dynamic that comes in here is this, which I think has a cool play to it. But then that moves into this break. I'll get into that in a sec. So I introduced the bongos and stuff. The feel's completely different. The shakers come in too, so it's distinct. Same bass sounds though, same overall drum sound, so it feels like a part of the song. And then we have another break here. So now another, in my eyes, it's kind of like a new day as in the story has started. It's kind of fun. I haven't listened to this song in this way in a while. And then this is the end of part A, and part B is going to begin here. So this is the biggest overall change. You know, it's going to a more Latin feel. This is a section where Pierre's vocals are highlighted more. Oh, and we go into Spanish. Yeah, so we'll get into that. So those are the two main sections. That section progresses, but it doesn't change in the same way that part A kind of changes. It really just, you know, that reflects the story. There's a lot of sort of anxiety and questioning, self-doubt in the first half. There's almost an ADD quality to the music where it's changing all the time and kind of reflects the emotional state. Whereas the second half is where that acceptance and the ability to see the beauty in the situation comes in. And with the Drive With Me video, I kind of just was like, here's layer one, and just went through. And I feel like that wasn't super interesting. So I'm going to try to wing it in a different way. But I want to just like bring the vocals in. Oops, did not mean to hit play there. So the way that the vocals here are structured in pink are the lead vocals, just one for me and one for Pierre. A lot of harmonies, 7 tracks for me, 3 tracks for Pierre. A lot of what we recorded in this song, at least vocally, did not get used. This was a song that we were kind of going with a maximalist approach. We wanted a bunch of sections, we wanted a bunch of vocals, but when it came down to the mix, we just started taking more and more stuff away. So you'll see these just big sections that are muted. There is stuff here. I don't even think, you know, like there's nothing here. So I could just, literally, I'm just using this track for this first word, which is club, by the way. Club by the shore. Didn't seem important for, you know, it to be super clear what's being said. And worked for me. So in my vocal chains video, this was the vocal that I focused on, feeling love in a foreign land, but still is essentially the distilled meaning of the song.
Feeling love in a foreign land, just off the flight, flickering lights, then your life.
It's sort of Pierre and I doing our best boy band.
My first night with you, don't stop pulling me closer. Now you wanna stay over.
So you hear those hi-hats and the percussion come in, the hats plug in, then we have a drop out.
Such good times with you, baby. Such good times with you, baby. 9 days, 9 days.
Cool. So let's get into some of the layers just to kind of break down what's actually going on. But I guess, what do we start with? We start with these live drums A. This was a song that we wrote, at least got the basic instrumentation and percussion down when we were on a retreat. So we did have some live drums that we had mic'd up. So I'm doing some automation on a filter to give it that like wow, like sort of like watery, like bubble pop sound. Very distorted, but it's just a da 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 bum bum da bum bum. For the most part, like that's how the song starts. So it's this extra kind of weird. And there's also this my voice in the background, because I think when Pierre was recording that, I was actually singing along to the song, trying to come up with something, you know? And so I'm just kind of, I don't even know what I'm saying. It's like da 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 da, something like that. And I'm like laughing, you know? Those little things, I think, I don't know, I really enjoy. It sort of adds like life for this feeling that like people were having fun when they made the song, and there's these little kind of like quirky details that come in and out. You know, we got the bass here, great bass line from Pierre. And that's the Peak, my Novation Peak synthesizer. If I just do, say, just to the kick snare. It's like real interesting, weird pattern. If I go to the next section, the bass does change. Got the shaker. Something I do a lot with shakers. Oh, okay. I guess that's right. I did have to do some CPU management, so I had to print some effects, but there's this kind of like noise generator that's on the shaker. And it just adds like a kind of like a white noise, and it goes with the song, with the sound. That's this plugin called Beef that I use all the time now. Has this noise modulation, and you just kind of add a little bit of that, change sort of what frequency, so that's all the noise. So it has a really crazy texture. It's, something that you want to just be real subtle with. Gives your shakers a really distinct way to stick out of the mix, but not like use a lot of tone, because it's just like this sort of ch-ch, which is all really you want it to be. There's a little bit of tone in there, but a lot of it's just the ch-ch-ch-ch that's adding interest. That's where these bongos come in. Just a lot of syncopation in this song. Also just have these hats, because it is a little weird, but just something to keep regular time. And they have a little turnaround, just that simple. And then we have this other break. Oh, and so this is where the second live drum comes in. And this is called trash drum. So we had, so that's sort of in the same way we recorded that. We got this. I think we were distorting the preamp when we recorded that in. I'm not exactly sure how we got that huge trash sound. I think we maybe have put something on the drum. We were kind of just messing around, and we got this like weird trash, like that hit is just nasty, right? But that it really mostly comes in for the B section. So this is a little bit of a tease of that, but also just to add some more variety, so it's kind of like, let's get away from the first live drums, get away from those first live drums and get into some new drums while we're in that kind of different drum beat section. And then this is where I went a little crazy on something. I just used Magic Dice, which is something if I just kind of want something random or unexpected and I'm not sure what I'm looking for, but I'm looking for something, I'll go for this. And so I knew that I didn't want this trash drum to just be straight through. And I knew that I wanted to have a dropout of some sort. So if I mute the trash drum.
Only 9 days before I gotta leave. 9 days.
So if I throw the trash drums in there with this Magic Dice thing that I figured out.
Only 9 days before I gotta leave. 9 days.
Creates a moment. Sounds like thunder maybe. And the vocal or the
falling hard for you.
To me it sounds like thunder or something like that, and it suggests there's some tension, or there, maybe, the song, it's 9 days in a strange place, 9 days falling hard for you. It could suggest that maybe a storm hit and it's sort of the emotional storm inside. That's not important. What's important is what I did with Magic Dice. So this plugin, it's hard to describe what it's doing, because you just click this button and it randomly, it's sort of a delay effect essentially. And it randomizes some parameters, and that's it. So what I did is I found a parameter that sounded cool, and what I've done is I've automated the mix. There is a second effect that I have going on, Alter Boy. I'm gonna see if I can just bypass that for now, so that we're not hearing the Alter Boy. So with just Magic Dice. So now that it's like kind of the trash drum sound that you're used to, you can just see that I'm basically just automating the mix up, and it's a sort of a rhythmic delay, like a rhythmic slap delay that's happening. And then it didn't make sense to have it there, so that's just muted. But it wasn't quite intense enough, so Alter Boy is coming in with some distortion, dropping the formant. So instead of da 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 it's do do do, like it has this like depth to it. But then I'm pitching it up, so it's kind of this contradictory thing where it's higher in pitch but lower in body. And so, you know, this song, it's a lot of those types of things, like little things that are changing throughout that I think give the song a really interesting progression. You know, like it's I think a really fun headphone song to listen to. So then otherwise, that's, you know, part A goes to this break, and then we get into part B. So the melodics of note are going to be the electric guitar by far. It's just the consistent thing that's throughout almost the entire song. And so this is one of the core elements that I believe Pierre wrote. So he was writing this to the drum part originally. So you notice like most of the guitar hits, they're all syncopated. They're not on with the drums. But yeah, so you know, there's a lot of syncopation with the guitar. When we get into the B section with just the sort of the more reggaeton style beat, we use this sort of, I think we took that and I just reversed it. The guitar is cool because it's very syncopated in the beginning and then it's very on the beat in the second half. So its role, the feeling from it changes. It feels a little stronger, a little more proud, more up when it's on the beat. And it feels more in conflict when it's off the beat at the beginning. When you kind of write from a place of emotion, or you're trying to write from the place of like, I have this song idea or this story that I'm trying to tell, you know, trying to make sure that everything supports that emotionally. It's something that Pierre and I really spend time focusing on, and we don't just write parts to write parts. So things like that, you know, there is an intention behind it, even though there is also just an exploration and just seeing what happens. That guitar, and then we just have the keys here. Pretty subtle, but it's just, you know, some melodic support, harmonic support throughout the song. And it's also syncopated off the guitar, so it's not quite with the guitar. Then, sort of after this break,
With you, baby, 9 days, 9
we have
days.
the siren or the whistle.
But I'm at ease with you guiding my hand.
I believe the keys drop out here. Yeah. So those keys are gone, so that created some space. So the siren takes place of the original keys. And then after that section, we have this break.
Before I gotta leave, 9 days.
Sort of more bigger, or like a fuller synth sound.
Falling hard for you. 9 days, 9 days.
And then this synth will continue into the B section. So this here, it's got like the pumping to it, and that's simple. Like I just throw Flux Mini. It's a free plugin. Works great. So melodically, it's pretty simple. I think most of the complexity is in the drums and percussion. I think this is a good point to just get into part B. So yeah, from that kind of guitar fade in. Oh yeah, oh yeah, we have these claps. These are just some random claps we did. Just like right here, just clapping. So if you focus just on the rhythm, what do we have here? So we have kind of the, you know, the kick snare pattern that we can hear. I do have some simple kind of percussion hits that are playing off the drums. So that's just a little subtle variation, just adds a little kind of depth to the overall sound. There's these hats. So I'm just using kind of the first part of the earlier hat phrase. I don't have this da 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 da. So I'm just using that. So that's just another layer that's coming into play. We have the trash drum, and it's sort of in its really where it's intended to be. And like this, just with the kick snare is like really cool. Like just that on its own, it is cool. Add some of the percussion, a little extra layer in there. And nothing. So then we add these other hi-hats. Oh, there's that little extra hit there. Lovely. And there's some hats. I think I played these. Yeah, the flex on these ones is pretty important. So let me strip it back down to just the kick snare. So if I take the flex off, you kind of more hear clearly what I'm doing. This is a real hi-hat. It's been kind of distorted and crunched up in certain ways. But it kind of sticks out, right? It pulls away from the kick and snare. And then here it feels like it's actually locked and grooving with the kick snare just by giving it a little bit of a volume pump, where it gets out of the way every time the kick comes in. So little things like that can help when you're adding more and more percussion, can help kind of keep things managed and keep things out of the way of the most important parts. So then all together, minus the bass first. Yeah, it's a little delay thing that's coming through. Cool. So, I mean, I love this section. And then the bass is just very simple, but deep. Cool. So let's bring in some of the melodics here. So that's just the guitar. Familiar with that. Those are the buzzy synths from before. Pumping again, staying out of the way of the kick. And then the biggest addition is what we call the house keys here. Pretty distorted at this point. Almost sounds like a dial tone or something on a phone, right? And so this happens until Pierre's vocal comes in, I believe. And he gives a little pickup into this section. All right, so with the lead vocal, we got Pierre. And so this is where the song becomes, is in Spanish. So like my vocal's not doing anything in this section. So that's the lead there, and then Pierre has a harmony that's just going with the whole time. I got that pumping also. Got the pumping somewhere. Yeah, so I just have the pumping on the overall, his whole harmony group. And I just turn it on and off as needed. It's not really happening in part A, but as part B has this really consistent kick, everything's kind of pumping with it aside from the lead vocal, the guitar, you know, a couple elements. I have a vocal that comes in.
Disfrutemos el tiempo que nos queda junto a ti y a mí, sabiendo que esto acaba. Disfrutemos el tiempo. Solo quedan.
So after that, I have this kind of, I guess I call it my emo voice, but it's sort of distorted.
9 days, 9 days, 9 days.
It's really more meant to be kind of more of a melodic element. But I mean, you know the song is called 9 Days. You've heard it a million times already in the song. You don't really need a very clear like 9 days. You know what I'm saying. Pumping, it's kind of moving with the synths and everything else. It's super distinct from Pierre's vocal. Then the last addition to this song is the synth here. Super cool synth, like sort of just the arpeggio, or messing with the arpeggiator on the peak. Like if we just solo that and the rhythm. I guess it locks in and then gets off with that little fill kind of thing. Well, that's 9 Days. That's the breakdown of the production on this song. Really happy to have this song released out into the world. Yeah, really happy to have this song out. Following this up real shortly with a new song called Longing. I'll have a similar breakdown of that song as well. That song is in response to this, very simple. This song was a great exercise in being a bit more maximalist about things, but it also taught us a few things about being very intentional about what you put in. So there's a lot of stuff that we had to take out of this song in order to just make it not be too much, not be too confusing. And so you're seeing kind of that final product, but there were some fighting as far as just like, wanting parts in, having an initial vision, and ultimately, realizing you had to go a different way. We imagined this big like vocal chant thing at the end. The more time, like the more layers we added, the more it pulled away from just the core groove. There's a lot of percussion going on. The arpeggio was always just kind of pushed more in the background because we were trying to highlight all these vocals. And it just made more sense to just pull it back to one vocal, kind of distorted, kind of pulled in the background, let the music shine through, let the groove and this is the dancing section of the song, and so we learned some important lessons, and I think Longing it'll be an interesting breakdown to go through in contrast to this one. If you check out the link in the description, it's cuttinginorway.com/9 days. That's spelled out NINE days. There's all the streaming links there. There's a link to this video you're watching right now, but there's also a link to a zip file where you can download the stems for remix purposes. If you just want to, check out what we're doing on your own in your own DAW, feel free. It's there for you. If you have any remixes you'd like us to know about, send it to us on Instagram. We got an email. I would love to package and release a handful of remixes. If we get a couple cool remixes, we would definitely want to support and promote those and kind of, just sort of build the community, and involve people that want to be involved. thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you hopefully much sooner than the last time for the Longing production breakdown. Bye.